Hey, everybody on YouTube. We are starting a little bit earlier tonight because I just want to make sure that all the sound is up and running the way it is supposed to. And I just want to make sure that everything is A-OK. You know, after last night, God, my hair, I got this round head going. All right. Yeah, normally we don't start this early, but I just want to do a quick sound check and see how things are looking. Am I clear? Does it sound good? Perfect. Perfect. That's what I want to see, Cedric. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Jules. Let's give a rundown here. John Doe, good to see you. Mike L., thank you for coming in. TH, good to have you here, my friend. Good morning to you, by the way. Good morning or good afternoon. Good evening, Tammy Finnegan, the lovely and talented Tammy Finnegan. Michael Lestuca, nice to have you here, my friend. Peace World, good to see you. Major Lee, thanks for coming on in. Gorgeous Renee, how are you? Long Island Bigfoot, thanks for coming on out. Gorgeous Jules, once again. Cedric, Bassmaster, good to have you here. Desert Clam, scratchy at peaks, so they'll turn the mic down a little bit. We should be good there. And Randy Spurl, Chris Jarvis, Steam Train Mark, please let us know how tomorrow is looking. If we are alive, I would appreciate that. Mandingo, New Zealand, welcome to our chat room. Mark Ellens, good to see you. Off-World Adam, thanks for coming on in. And Lord of Land, good to have you here. Mr. Cowley, welcome back to the show. Oh, Mr. Cowley loves his spaced out radio. That's all I got, man. Vinster, good to have you back, man. All right, so we're sounding good here, and that's the main thing. And we'll fire up Spreaker in a number of minutes. We'll call our guest in, Lynda Thompson, tonight, just to check things out. And, oh, my hair. I need a haircut. And, yeah. Oh, Mendingo, we are alive in the future. Thank you for letting me know. I appreciate that. Because I think you're about 16, 17 hours ahead of me. What time is it there tomorrow? No, I'm just going to trim up the sides a little bit. That's what I'm going to do. Don't worry, I'm not cutting the hair. Not the top. Dolly Shizler Farias, welcome to Spaced Out Radio's chat room. Oh, it's 6 p.m. there, so you are 20, or almost 6 o'clock there. You're 21 hours ahead of me. 21 hours ahead. Very cool. Very, very cool. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Oh, Dolly, you're in San Francisco. That's awesome. Love it there. I've been there twice in the last 3 years, speaking at UFO conferences. TH, thank you so much for the ice cream cone super chat. Really do appreciate that. That's awfully kind. Thank you. Do, 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 do. John Swan, good to see you. Warden Dragon, thank you for coming on in. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do do do. Hi, Blix. Hey, Denbub. How are you? Thank you for joining us. Oh, you're cold. It's only like -3 here right now. It's been snowing all day. Not enough to accumulate a lot, but it's been snowing all day. Penman! Penman! Where are you, Penman? Well, thank you, Dolly, for that amazing super chat. Thank you so much. Really do appreciate that support. 33 degrees. Wow. -10 where you are, Tammy. 6 Celsius. I didn't know you were in Victoria, Den Bub. That's cool. Very cool. I love it when the fellow BCers come on in. I do. Lynda Thompson tonight. We'll be hooking up with her in just a couple of minutes here. Sweet Donnie C. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Jenny White Bear, thank you for coming on in, Jenny. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Just getting set up here, everyone. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Ha 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 da 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 do. Ba 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 ba. There we go. Got that set up. We got Lynda in here momentarily. I hate it when I swallow. Chris Kringle, Merry Christmas. Worsley, good to have you here, man. Hungry Burrito, good to see you. Mark Ellens, you're in Abbotsford? It's my hometown. James Pierce, welcome to our chat room. Really appreciate that. Solar Warden, good to have you back. The Ronald Penton is here, everyone. The Ronald Penton. Go 66. Boo to you. Hi, Pam McSee. Welcome to the show. I'll get Lynda in here. Hello, Lynda. We are live on YouTube right now, and I had to do some testing of audio, but everything seems to be going A-OK. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
I am good. Do you have your lovely red glasses on?
On my head.
Nice. Hi, Millennium. Good to have you here. Okay. So, Lynda, just a quick rundown since you and I didn't get a chance to talk earlier. We do take commercial breaks every 30 minutes. Okay. And at the top of the hour breaks, I'm going to run my dogs outside, so don't worry about that. If you hear me all of a sudden mention someone else's name, that's because I'm mentioning someone in our chat room, like Zach Martin. Good to have you back, man. Raul, nice to see you, my friend. And yeah. And just a reminder, no swearing on the air, please.
Okay.
Uh-huh. 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 Yes. Otherwise, I'm all set up.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So we're about 3 minutes away from, actually, we're about 9 minutes away from the show.
Okay.
Yeah, you get to hang out with me now.
All right.
Yay, you. Yay, you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How much snow do you have?
What do we have? We only got about another inch today, inch and a half. So I don't have a lot of snow here, like unseasonably low amount of snow. So usually I have about 2-3 feet at this time, and I'm less than 2 feet right now. I'm less than a foot, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So that kind of sucks. Kay Kaylee, nice to see you. You're looking lovely tonight. Robert Two Crows, good to see you. Chris Reap, thanks for coming on in. Nice to have you here. That's right, Peace World. Only Dave can cuss. But Dave does. All right, let's see where we are here. All right, we'll send that out. Paste that. And get this ready. Mr. Cowley. Thanks, the Ronald Penton. The Ronald Penton, everyone. By the way, the Ronald Penton will be signing autographs after the show. Line up to the right of the studio, if you don't mind. 416 Bitcoin is here. He'll be signing autographs on the left side of the studio tonight. So make sure you make room and bring double doses of paper to get signed. It sucks. Today is day one at Tim Hortons where they actually use paper straws. Hey, there's gorgeous Manitoba Becky, everyone. She's just rocking her brand new Spaced Out Radio t-shirt. She got the Have You Seen Carl t-shirt. She sent me a lovely picture. If you want to see it, it's in our Spaced Out Radio group on Facebook as well as our SOR Vault page. So make sure you check that on out. And Dirty Fylth, good to see you. Thank you for coming on in. Lynda, I absolutely hate paper straws. I hate them.
I use glass straws.
I've got ice caught in my straw now. Finally, I got it out.
You mostly taste paper, right?
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks. hey, it's safe for wildlife. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Sandra. Hey, Otis, good to see you. Mr. Apnea, good to have you awake. Lance, thank you for coming on in. Manitoba Becky, after the show, just so you know, will be modeling her shirt outside of the studio with her autographed piece of coaxial cable signed by cable guy Matt. Electric Siren, welcome to our chat room for the first time. Rich Hilke, good to see you, buddy. Eva. Hi. Luis Elizondo will be coming on February 23rd. That's a Tuesday night. Howard S., good to have you here. All right, Lynda, we're about 4 minutes away.
Okay.
4 minutes away. Then I'll read an intro to the show, intro to you. Then we're off and running until the bottom of the hour, okay?
Okay.
Then we'll take like a 5-minute break. And we'll just go from there. It's just kind of the way it goes.
All right.
Yeah. Jose, how you doing, buddy? Good to have you back. Jose, where are you from, man? Butch won't be back until next month. We're way too booked up right now, so I apologize for that, but it's the way the schedule goes. Hey, brother Eugene, how you doing, my friend? Much love to you, bud. Much love to you. All right, we are 3.5 minutes from getting going here. Lovely Lynda Thompson is our guest tonight on the big show. She has beautiful red glasses, but she's not wearing them right now. Oh, Atlanta, Georgia. That's cool, Jose. I love learning where people are from. It's one of the real cool things about this show. I still got to go get a map of the world. Long Island Bigfoot, thank you so much for the super chat. Greatly appreciated, man. Thank you. That's awesome. Hey, Kevin. How you doing, buddy? All right. We got about 2 minutes here, everyone, or 2.5 minutes. One of the two. Haven't figured that out. Theodora, welcome back. We're glad you're here, Theodora. All right. Michael Leger is here, everyone. The Michael Leger. Focus. Focus. Good to have you here. All right. Let's fire up this other one. Oh, wrong one. Damn it. Almost ended the show right there. Holy cow, that was close. That would have really sucked if I would have done that. Solaire, good to see you. Thank you for coming on in. Want to remind everybody that a great way to support this show is by giving us a thumbs up. If you're brand new, hit that subscribe button, as we are trying for 15,000 subscribers by May 24th, which will be my birthday. We got 4 months to hit that. 4 months. So make sure you're sharing this show, and Super Chat is open as well. And be like Becky. Be like Becky, be like Mark, be like a few others. Go do a little shopping at facebook.com/the SOR Vault. You can get yourself some great spaced out radio swag there. There is more coming very, very soon. Boom to you, Bama. And hello, Anne Celine, the lovely and talented Anne. Here we go. We got like 30 seconds, everyone, and we're going to have a blast tonight. Donnie Roswell, good to see you, man. 25 seconds. Neil Jones, welcome. 10 seconds. Let's have some fun tonight, shall we? 5 seconds. Here we go, everyone. From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on TalkStream Live, Revolution Radio, and KPNL. If you want to take a listen to our archives, they are free for you at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. We're going deep undercover tonight. Lynda Thompson is our guest, where she has experienced multiple ET contact events throughout her life. Now retired, the former EG&G employee spends her time supporting other experiencers, and she has a newfound interest of digging deep into UFO history to try and uncover this hidden truth. Then at the bottom of hour number 3, I will bring you the SOR Newswire, brought to you by Paranoia Magazine. Lynda Thompson, welcome to Spaced Out Radio for the first time. How are you?
Hi, Dave. How are you doing?
I am great. I am absolutely great. Now, you and I, just a few weeks ago, got to sit down on UAPresearch.com and do a 45-minute, hour-long interview there to learn all about your stories and everything that kind of goes along with it. I had a lot of fun with you there, and especially with Joel, and Joel's hair looking absolutely fantastic that night. But, you know, it's really cool to have you back on this show now, where we kind of get to have a little bit more time to go real deep into your own stories.
Okay.
So I'm pretty excited to have you here. Now, just remember, paint a picture, let the audience know what it's all about. And Lynda, tell us a little bit about you. How long or how old were you when your experiences started?
They started when I was, I would say, a toddler. Obviously, I don't remember all my experiences all my life, but our family, for one thing, had an experience altogether. We were going to one of my grandmothers, and she lived a distance away, and it was at night, and so we got close to her house, and there were train tracks, and it's just like it was in Close Encounters. We got pulled up to the train tracks, and the signs and everything started going crazy, and we saw lights, and the car was cutting on and off, and I hid underneath the seat, but you know, the lights were still there and everything, and my mother and father were going, this is how it starts, right? Now, I was probably have been about 4, so I would say that was probably 1961 at the most. And so, you know, we saw the light, and then we saw a creature. Now, I've asked many times over the years to my siblings if they remembered that, and they said that that absolutely did happen. So I was terrified to go to my grandmother's house, and a couple of those types of incidents, and my parents never took me back down there again. So that was pretty
Going
traumatic.
back to those railroad tracks, you make it sound like it's a um, little bit like Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Take us back to inside the vehicle. How long did this last for?
Gosh, I was so young. I don't have a good set on the time. I don't even know exactly what happened with us. I don't know if we were there fully conscious the whole time or if something else happened as far as us, going somewhere. We just, I don't know that. But it happened, and that was pretty traumatic for us. So that was
How many were
probably
in the car?
okay. I don't think my young sister would have been born yet. If she was in the back seat as a baby. So there would have been 6 of us total if she had been born. So this was the old Ford's, Fintel Ford. So, that was pretty early. Then, there were other events also. And my sister, she when she got old enough, she was having the events and having the events with us. She would, when she got mad at me at night, she would call down all her space aliens. She would call them, you know, to come and get me because she she liked to do that, and I was like, oh, whatever, go to sleep. So that had an impression on her early, this type of stuff.
Going through that as a family, when you did, was it ever talked about after that event? Never mind just between you, but was it ever like mums and dads when something scary happens or anomalous happens, especially back in the day, parents usually were the type of people who said, we don't talk about that. Was your family one of those that didn't want to talk about this subject?
Definitely. We weren't allowed to go and play with friends because, and we weren't really supposed to have anybody over. It was always, you're going to say the wrong thing. You can't just say whatever you want to say. Um, and so, and not just that, it was the way we would, our mannerisms or whatever, we would get in trouble because we weren't supposed to talk like that or whatever. And so yeah, it did affect us. We had a very secretive family, very private family.
Hmm.
And so it in many ways didn't build a very peaceful, solid family, because there was always so much secretive stuff going on.
Oh, yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about there, Lynda, because my family was exactly like that. And to this day is still quite like that. So, for instance, if it isn't politics or the Pepsi versus Coke debate, we don't talk about it. That's just the
Right.
way it is. And I hate that because I'm such a communicator and I just can't stand that. I mean, for years, this must have driven you crazy.
Yeah, you can't, you were saying, oh, you can't talk about that, and that kind of thing. And so, even if a couple of us saw something together, even if it was very dramatic, it was like, you can't tell anybody about this, that kind of thing. But yeah, it was very, in fact, my first office job, it was I would be telling somebody something, they'd ask a question or whatever, and I'd be telling something, and two or three of them would be sitting there staring at me, and I'm like, "What?" And they're like, "That's not normal." and, and so you just you either shut up completely and didn't talk about anything, or if you did, no matter how innocent you thought it was, then you'd get in trouble.
Oh, I hated that. Hated that when that happened. As after this event, do you think that you guys suffered any missing time during this, or any type of superficial wounds, or anything regarding this event?
I don't know about that event. Um, there were others, but I know, like, I know my older sister, she had horrible nosebleeds. The kind like would have to be packed with whatever by a doctor. Her nosebleeds were so bad. And, that is supposed to be one of the things. Now, I've had nosebleeds over the years, but nothing as bad as hers. Um, we've all had problems with our health. So, it's really hard to say. When I was that young, you know, anything could have been, if I had something going on, it could have just been written off to, well, you fell or whatever. So,
Mm-hmm.
very early age things, it's kind of hard to gauge.
Yeah, very true. I mean, for a lot of us, I mean that it's a long time ago. But Lynda, you are a lifelong experiencer. We're going to get more into that later on. How did you end up getting your job with the very mystical EG&G? And for people who may not know the company EG&G, fill them in a little bit.
Okay. Um, and I didn't work there a long period of time. I've been mostly working as a paralegal for decades before I retired. But when I worked at EG&G, and my husband did as well, that's how we met. Um, it was in the automotive research division, which we still sent stuff to the Las Vegas office. And it's a big corporation. Everybody knew pretty much what was going on where. And so we had, I worked for a department of like 22 engineers. And, we did our stuff, but then we received stuff from the local military bases. And sometimes those items had to be shipped to Las Vegas. And so, you know, you never knew what it was that you were exactly sending there, except for I know after it was the Iranian hostage situation, and one of the helicopters that had malfunctioned. I know that we sent it from our um, division to the Las Vegas division for them to analyze it and work on it. So, we would ship pictures and things like that, and they would end up being torn open and then returned to us as bad. And I'd go like, "What's the deal with this?" And they're like, "Well, there's all kinds of spies and people espionage looking for stuff." So, no matter how innocent something was, you never knew what was going to happen to it. So from there, the corporate attorneys from Massachusetts would come down, and they would have corporate work mostly to send to the Las Vegas office, but they used our office for several things. I would help them in their work while they were at our offices. And then that's how I got into working with the legal field, is through that cooperation. But we knew what the culture was. In fact, my husband's worked with a couple of people who worked in the Las Vegas office, doing the types of work that he's doing now. So, everything gets around. And so, there was like a satellite that fell one time, and it was picked up and shipped to Las Vegas. And of course, when somebody said, "Well, why is it going to Las Vegas?" It's like, well, that's where all the flying stuff, the UFOs and everything goes to. So, it was known that that was kind of stuff that they did work on.
I gotta ask you, in regards to EG&G, you met your husband there, which is
Mhm.
really cool, and congratulations on being married for as long as you have, because it's such a rarity these days. But I want to ask you, what was it like, or what is it like to get a job at one of these black project type companies? What kind of security do you have to go through in order to get employed there?
Okay, well, obviously we weren't the Las Vegas, but we still had to have clearance for what I did in particular, not so much what he did. But my first husband was Army intelligence. And so we were still married. It was about a year or so later that we got a divorce. So when I started working there, um, he had the clearance, but as a spouse, they had also had cleared my background. So when EG&G found out what his position was, they knew the process. In fact, our security person where I worked had been at Las Vegas. Um, and so that's how I got into that. And of course, even back then, EG&G had everything wired up with everything you could think of as far as um, sensors, video cameras, everything like that. I mean, that was in the late 70s, early 80s. We would joke that there would be sensors in our chairs so they'd know when we were at our desk, that kind of thing. So, but yeah, there were different levels of security there.
So for you being a clerk, were you privy to a lot of the darker stuff? Did you have to sign NDAs and paperwork like that?
Um, I was officially a data technician. There was papers that we signed. There was specifically, I know one paper in particular that had to do with if we um, designed anything while we were there, that it would belong to the company. And we did sign confidential documents. So, there were things that we weren't then supposed to talk about. We had a lot of prototype type vehicles. In fact, that was when Honda had first been selling whole vehicles without shipping them in as motorcycle engine type of things, the way they did earlier. And so they thought I was a tall American woman, is what the Japanese engineers kept telling me, and I'm 5'4". So, so I would take the cars out to test drive and give them my opinion. So that was pretty funny that they thought I was tall. So we did stuff like that that was confidential. And so, what we did, a lot of it did relate to the same type of techniques, the same kind of culture, the same kind of secret that would have been the minimum at Las Vegas. So, you know, it got to be just a running joke. But air engineers occasionally would have something that they would talk to the other engineers about there, something that was being worked on.
I got to ask you, considering you met your husband at EG&G, it always comes down to the most famous EG&G employee is Bob Lazar.
Yes.
Did you or your husband know a Bob Lazar during EG&G days?
No, he would have been with EG&G later. And so it would not have been there. The culture that he would have been in, I can see that he could have been hired there under the circumstances that he talked about. I'm obviously have not a lot to say about that part of it, but I can also see where he could have been used by someone there for a specific info purpose.
I got to ask you, as we got about a minute and a half here before we go to break at the bottom of the hour. When we come back, I want to ask you more about your own personal experiences that you have had. But I mean, knowing that you had this experience as a young one and potential other experiences alongside of that, to work for a company like EG&G, did it seem a little odd or weird back then or even now that you did?
Oh, sure. I mean, I don't think it was a coincidence that I did work there. I think it's just the way things lined up, and I probably wouldn't have gotten in the legal field either if I hadn't have worked there. But yeah, I think it's a lot of things about it that was not a coincidence.
Really? That's interesting to me because I mean EG&G is one of those companies that we'll never know as the public what they really do. We may know the outskirts of what they want us to see, but the inside scoop we'll never know.
Oh, well, right now there's only two divisions that are alive, and they're both in Nevada. But yeah, it was of course, it all goes back to the Manhattan Project period, and they were involved in a lot of different things, all of it government. Now, yours, URS, which is part of what bought the division I was with, I looked at their stock last year and it was like $1,000 per stock.
Wow.
Whatever.
Lynda, hold on right there. We're going to go to break here at the bottom of the hour. We have Lynda Thompson, personal experiencer. We're going to get into that along with a lot of Black Project talk coming up on Spaced Out Radio. All right, we're clear. Remember,
Okay.
people on YouTube get to hear everything we are saying right now. All right, let's see who's new in here. Justin, good to see you. Oh, look who it is, everyone. Make sure we get a round of applause for the lovely and talented Nicole Sakic. Some people may say she's just a cook, but to us, she's somebody who does not make breakfast for dinner, people. Does not make breakfast for dinner. Magolan, good to have you back. Mad Kiwi, good afternoon to you from Tomorrowland. All right. There we go. There we go. And Stu F. and Gerson, how you doing? Oh, my goodness. Look who it is, everyone. It's the lovely, gorgeous, and insatiable Simply Coco. Welcome to the return of the show. Welcome. We love you. Limited 500, welcome to our chat room for the first time. I noticed we got a lot of first-timers in our chat room tonight. Do us a favor, if you haven't already, hit that thumbs up or thumbs down, and more importantly, hit that subscribe button in the bell. Lets you know when we are coming on the air 5 days a week, and we go from there. So we would love it if you do. We're trying to hit 15,000 subscribers before my birthday on May 24th. We'd really appreciate the love if you do not mind. It really doesn't take much. It's just one little move of the mouse. Like all you do, here's a mouse. All you do is go like this and click, or you use your finger if you're on your phone or tablet and just go click. That's it. That's all you do. That's all you do. It's easy. It's easy. Click, click, click. That's right. Click, click, click. Yeah, that's all I got. That's all I got, Lynda. Click, click, click. Aaron, thank you for the comment. He says it's worth the subscription, new people. Yes, it is. Hi, Zoe Buttercup, with the cutest smile. Cute Zoe Buttercup, won't you stay a while? Hey, it's Uncle Dale and his power stash. Please rub the mustache for us, Uncle Dale. We would appreciate that. All right. Uncle Chuck says bring the mic down a little bit, so we will. Perfect. I, Lexi Fox, bass guitarist for Steel Panther. I don't know really if you are. No, because you only have one X in your name. So you're definitely not, but we'll just pretend. Zoe never recognizes when I sing for her. I'm kind of hurt by that. I have to go back to one of my favorite top 10 movies, The Three Amigos, for that. By the way, it's that time again, my friends, where we got to tell you that this show is brought to you by Mighty Moose Beard Oil. I have the regular. I have the winter blend. Trying to get him to make, Gary the Dutchman, to make one called Sasquatch for us. It's real cool. And you go to MightyMooseBeard.com. You get one of these bottles here. Give it a little squeeze. Real simple here. You know, comes out in the old drip. You just put a couple of drips right there. Put the dripper thing back in the bottle. Rub your hands together and massage it in. Massage it in. That's all you do. You just massage it in. And you smell great. It's all natural, no chemicals. All of your money, all of the money is in Canadian funds. So if you're in the U.S., you're saving money. And the best part about it is, for ladies, it helps with split ends. So you just rub it in. Just rub-a-dub-dub it in. That's all you do. Just rub it in. And you smell great all night. MightyMooseBeard.com. Use promo code SOR2019. And Gary the Dutchman will give you a good deal. Thank you to Long Island Bigfoot, to Dolly, and to TH for the awesome super chats tonight. We really do appreciate it. We're going to get going here momentarily. Second half hour of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate the time. Want to remind you that if you miss portions of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/spaced out radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. We continue on with Lynda Thompson tonight. UFOs, ET contact, black projects. We are getting it just fine tonight as Lynda is here with us. Welcome back, Lynda.
Hi, Dave.
Hi. Nice to have you here.
It's good to be here.
I want to learn more about your experiences. You know, you had the experience that you explained in the first half hour of the show, and that happened with your family, almost like Close Encounters of the Third Kind. But
Right.
but what do you recall next happening to you personally?
I had an experience where I was with, and I have no clue who this was. I'm thinking that it was a being that felt like a grandmother to me because I've asked a lot of questions in the family about it. But I was with her, it was outside, there was this big, what I would say it was like a ship kind of thing. And there was the light coming out of it, and there were, I would say, people. I don't know if they were people or beings, but they were going into it, and I wanted to go. And I was told that it wasn't time for me to go. And so, I was upset because I wanted to go with them. I would say I was probably about 5 at that time. And so, I was pretty upset about it, and I kept asking people in my family about it, and they didn't know what that was. So I don't know if that was an event where I was taken separately. That could have been the case. And so, that's been something that has disturbed me through the years.
How often are you getting contacted, by the way?
I can't even give you a good answer on that. It hasn't been as often this year. I only had one incident so far that we're pretty sure that the contact has happened with me, physically. Last year I had multiple events. The prior years I had multiple events. And so, and then there are times, of course, where you don't know if you're astral projecting or what, because some of those can feel so real. But the actual events where I have physical evidence of, having marks on me, having even the fluorescence under the black lights, having, like something like black all over my hand. One time having blood all over my hands for no reason. There's been many events, and then obviously the one like I told you on the other show where that happened with when I was driving. But and then here there's been times when I wasn't here during the night. My husband would say, where were you last night? And I would say, I was in bed. And he was like, no, you weren't. because I looked everywhere for you. The house was locked up. The keys were here. The cars were outside. I couldn't find you anywhere. So where were you? Well, there's only one answer to that. You know, I just wasn't here. I was taken. And so there's been a lot of that through the years, which of course raises a lot of questions in marriage and how to explain things that you can't explain. So all of that makes life difficult. Um, and so there are those events. Um, there's been events where I have seen 1 to 2 beings at the front of the bed. In fact, that goes back to when we were probably 1982, even in Houston, that happened. But, he most of the time will sleep through stuff, but there's been times that he has awakened because something is grabbing him. And so, yeah, he doesn't like that. I wonder why. And so, you know, there's been a couple of times when I was held down and then screaming, you know, wakes him up. So you name it, we have had all kinds of stuff like that through the years. Um, and that doesn't count anything else that goes on here that could be related to that or be separate. So, last Sunday, I think it was, he sat down and it was like one of those, remember when, and, talking about some of the things that's happened through the years that, he didn't have a grasp on um, things that were going on. And I would tell him things, but it was like, just kind of blow it off, you know. And so he grew up in a family that didn't, I guess, have any experience with anything like this. They didn't believe in ghosts.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Oh, Siri wants to join in on the conversation there.
It's so bizarre. The only time she talks to me is when I'm on a conference call.
That's quite okay. That's quite okay. So with your own experiences that you had, the beings that you claim you have saw, what were they?
They have been like, okay, obviously the ones that were at the foot of my bed in the dark. It was too dark to see what they were. At the time, I called them like just shadow people because I didn't know what else to call them. And they were not too much taller than the footboard on the bed. Now, the ones that I had drawn from when I was little, those were more, they, I guess you would say some of those were kind of a reptile kind of looking thing, and I'd colored them green. And of course, now I'm like, I don't know if that was, I mean, I assume that's what they were. The things that I saw that when I stopped my car that night in the intersection and the beings came toward me that were tall. And like I said, those were kind of, I don't know, wiry, spindly. Um, they were fast, they weren't walking. And I don't know that they were floating, and it was pitch black. So, but they came to me and they appeared to be more of a, I would say, a lighter color. I would say probably gray, but it was dark. Now, I haven't had the regressions for particular events. I had a regression one time, and the person could not handle it. She stopped it. In fact, she had a brand new computer. Her brand new computer broke trying to do the regression. And so she said she couldn't handle it. So she stopped. She brought me out. And so that was the only time we tried to have that. There's not very many people here locally that do any kind of hypnotizing or anything because I've checked in with people. So that's an issue here locally. So I would say what I saw that night, and I'll explain since a lot of people might not have heard that show, but it was northeast slightly of San Antonio. It was in Bulverde off of 281, and this was like around 1998. We hadn't been in San Antonio very long that time. And so I was going to pick up my son from a friend's house, and I got to a T intersection, and I had driven that several times before at night. And when I got to the intersection, looked both ways, there was this, it was big. I mean, it was like really big, like a big house. And it was light just all over it, like really, really bright lights. And I knew there was not a house there. So I was very confused about what I was seeing. And so instead of going like a dummy and turning to where I needed to go, I just sat there and stared. And then that's when I see these beings coming towards me. And it was about 5 of them. And they were tall enough to see way above my front of my hood of my car. And then one of them came to my door, and I can remember being like, I slumped down over. Okay. Now I had called my husband on the cell phone at that point, and there was an answering machine at home. And so I left a message on the answering machine, and I was screaming. Well, when I did get home hours later, my husband and my son was there. That's how long it took me to get back because my son had already gotten there for some time. And so they were upset because they said the answering machine had screaming and everything all on it. And so, and then when all of that happened, all I know is that I was headed back out on a back street that I have no clue where I was. So I was just following a light in the distance, which now seems really stupid to follow another light. But that's what I did. And I finally ended back on the highway way further out before I, started driving back into town. But, so my car did end up having damage. It needed a new computer. It had damage on it physically, and my radio never worked again. So, yeah. And then it ended up that later, well, I had some neuro things going on, and then about, oh gosh, sometime later, I ended up having this huge cyst come up on the top of my head. And when it was removed, it had something in it that my doctor said she had never seen before. Um, it it wasn't like a typical thing that you take out as a cyst. So they sent it off to pathology, and the lab could not identify it. And they made a big deal about it that they could not identify it. Well, I'd never heard of implants or anything like that, so I had no clue. All I knew was my family had a lot of cancer, and I was just glad it wasn't a tumor. That's all I cared about. And of course, now it was like, too bad. By the time I realized what it probably was, it was too late. It was like past the 10-year limit to where I could get the records. So those types of things happened, and probably more than once. I mean, we definitely know more than once as far as with the lights. There were many, many times with things that happened like that. In high school, even, I was going to a friend's house that was like 3 miles away, and it was at night, and this big light was sitting stationary. It was like a couple of blocks from their house. And I just sat there and watched it. And then when I got to their house, they said it was too late for me to come in, that why wasn't I there after I called them? And I was like, what are you talking about? I came straight over here. I just saw this light, and I watched the light, but, I just came right here. Well, obviously not. Obviously, there was more that went on. So then the next day when I got to school, I was called to the principal's office because he had heard that I had seen a flying saucer. And so he wanted to hear it from me because he was interested in them. But so, I can go on and on about all the missing time with lights and different things that happened. But yeah.
We need to hear that, Woo. We need a good fix in here.
So, yeah. So I know when we moved from Houston to San Antonio, my husband was already in San Antonio because he had to work, and I left my job transferring to San Antonio. But when I drove over separately, it was after work. I stopped to get a quick bite to eat on the way. And so I should have been there like at 10 o'clock at the latest at night in San Antonio. And I ended up there at 3 o'clock in the morning. And he was so upset with me because it was like, where have you been? And I'm like, I came straight over here. I just ate, and that was it. And of course, but I remembered that there was this big, huge light in the sky. And so that we figured out later was what was going on. That really affected me. I would say at that point, I really did not want to be back in San Antonio, which had other experiences before we moved to other places in Texas. So I just felt like San Antonio was like almost like a bad omen because there was so much stuff.
What do you think is happening as we got about 3.5 minutes before we go to break here at the top of the hour, Lynda? What do you think is happening during those missing time events?
I'm sure that there was plenty happening. Ever since I was little, I had different physical things happening to me. I was terrified of doctors. When I was I was 12 and I had an incident that caused me medical damage internally. When I was, say, 15, there was something that happened and the doctor thought I was pregnant. There was no way I was pregnant. And then it was like, no, you're not pregnant after all that was gone through. Okay, so then that happened several more times. I had miscarriages. I had other medical damage. When I had to have surgery when I was 24, the doctor had told me that I had had another baby since my son, which was no, I had not had another baby. And he told me I did, and that's what was causing me the damage. And no, I had not had another baby. So there was plenty of that kind of thing going on. And, you know, my body has paid the price for it over the years. So plenty, you know, I remember things, and there was, when I was very young, I remember being on a table, and this is my young mind, I thought I was surrounded by trees. Okay, so that bothered me because I was on this table surrounded by trees.
Right.
And okay, I was having a massage one day, and I sat straight up, and I said, those were not trees. Those were aliens. And I just knew right then that was what it was. And I think the body work release is what released the memory for that event.
Why did you think they were aliens? What gave you that clue?
Well, that came very, very tight to me. It was very personal the way that came to me, but I believe that that's what I had interpreted them as, trees, due to their color, mainly, I believe. That was in the time period when I was young, when I thought that they were greenish. So whether they were green-gray or whether they were green, that was my impression.
All right, Lynda, I'm going to get you to hold on right there because we are going to go to break here at the top of the hour. Lynda Thompson is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. She's an experiencer. She is a researcher. She is someone who has looked into the unknown, both from the ET contact side and the Black Project side. We're going to learn more about Lynda and her story when we come back here on Spaced Out Radio. So please stay tuned as Spaced Out Radio continues with hour number 2 next with Lynda Thompson. Lynda, I'm just going to run my dogs out. I'll be right back, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
You love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now. The Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
I'm feeling a little spicy tonight. What to do? What to do?
Why not get Bumblefuck?
4 million Scoville units of pure hard rock. Bumblefoot hot sauces come in 3 flavors. The burning Bumble Tone it down a bit with Bumblicious and throw the sauce on everything.
Spicing up. Bumble me, baby. Bumblefoot hot sauce. Get it today at kajans.com.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com and remember, Little Brother is Watching.
The party is always on at the Moose Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is where you want to be when visiting Canada's West Coast. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose cranks up the rock while serving some of the best rated food in the city. The menu starts at $6.95. Why party anywhere else in Vancouver when the Moose is right there? Get your horns up and rock with the Moose, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Hello, space travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
We are scouring the world for the most intriguing stories of your day. Take the time to read up on the SOR Newswire, where our team, led by Captain Shirk, will deliver to you some of the best paranormal and supernatural news, along with some stories that will blow your mind from the weird to the wacky. It's the news outside the news that piques interest, and that's what we're looking to deliver to you. The SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
For the price of 1 cup of coffee a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. The Space Travelers Club is a place where you can interact with other listeners, either live during the show or on our great forum. We want your stories, pictures, comments, and ideas. You'll get live video streams, exclusive content, and be a part of our newsletter. Stay in touch with everything SOR. The Space Travelers Club is just $5 a month at spacedoutradio.com.
Are you an experiencer of something strange that can't be explained? Do you want help finding out what's going on? I'm Ryan Stacy.
All right, Lynda, I'm back.
Okay. I was just checking out chat and typing a couple of things.
I notice. Hi, Lynda Thompson in our chat room. Thurston Howell III.
And my son talks to Samantha tomorrow.
I'm sorry?
My son talks with Samantha tomorrow.
Oh, yeah? Perfect. Perfect. Give me 1 sec here. I may sneeze. I'm not sure, but I may sneeze. All right, we have just over 90 seconds here, or just under.
Okay.
One minute. Hey, Worsley, how you doing, man? Good to have you here. Stunt Brat, good to see you again. Gary, you're Dutch. Remember? You're Dutch. Dude, Gary, you got to name that one Sasquatch, that new blend, man. Name it Sasquatch. You have to. We got 20 seconds. Want to say a big thank you to Susan Donahue, Long Island Bigfoot, Dolly, and TH for the amazing super chats tonight. Thank you so much for the support. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're brand new. Hi, Grendel. How you doing? And here we go with hour 2, everyone.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We want to say hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial stations across North America, digitally on TalkStream Live, KPNL, and Revolution Radio. If you want to check out our archives, we have them free for you at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club, Xanthocyanopsy. Xanthocyanopsy is your password. Use it wisely, space travelers, as the clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. We continue on tonight with Lynda Thompson. She is a UFO researcher, ET experiencer, helps people who have had ET encounters. Lynda, welcome back.
Hi, Dave.
Now, right before the break, we were talking about your own experiences of missing time. What's that like? And the experiences with extraterrestrials that you have had personally. And you got into something about implants. Do you believe you're implanted still?
I have one place that could very well be. It moves around in my arm, and I have not used, and well, I don't even know if I've got one anywhere around here, one of the earth magnets or whatever, to see if it will move with it. I've had in my ear, my left ear, there had appeared like a BB type thing in my earlobe, and that was really irritating me, so I worked it till it had like a hole in it, and I was crushing it the whole time. So I didn't get any pieces out. Apparently I've grounded it, but I get the beeps in that ear. And I've gotten beeps like Morse code in that ear for some time, but after that, it's more of a solid electronic. It's like an alert or an upgrade. I've also have sneezed one out of my nose, and that was last year.
You have to tell us about that.
That was very weird. I sneezed, and it was like small. It was squarish, maybe a fourth of an inch by a fourth of an inch, and it was kind of a goldish bronze color. It had a little, like a dimple kind of thing in it, like almost like where something had taken it to put it in. And so I have that hidden away. I've had people offer to take it from me, and like many experiencers, and especially after that first incident, where, I don't have anything from the top of my head other than the scars. I'm real reluctant to let that out of my eyesight. There's a couple of people that I would trust with a piece of it, maybe.
Okay, so you actually still have that potential implant.
Right.
Okay.
But I don't know where else it would have come from, I don't think I have anything like that I just stick up my nose during sleep or something, so it's hard to explain. And I didn't even notice it until, I threw it in the trash, and when I threw it on the trash and it was still on the tissue, and I was like, what is that? And so, that's when I realized that something had come out.
I mean, that's a little weird. I mean, none of us really want to have nose goblins that turn into metal. That's for sure.
Nope. So, I mean, it had to be pretty far back there for me not to know that it was there.
Okay, so what does it look like? What color is it?
It's kind of a goldish bronze color. It's
So to put it in perspective, could you say it looks like a shotgun BB?
No, it's not completely flat, but it's more of a flat surface except for the dimple that's in it. There's one side that I think is more rounded than the other side, but it's not something that's flimsy. So, I mean, obviously it must have been bothering my nose for me to, just sneeze it out or whatever. I mean, like I said, it was really bizarre when it happened. And of course, first thing I do is show it to my husband, and he's like, how did that come out of your nose?
I gotta ask you, in regards to that, have you thought about contacting independent scientists or to research and to experiment on what this potentially is?
I did do a lot of research on it. There are some companies now that do have that type of thing that they're using in the brain. And some of them do go up through your nose. They can be made out of various different things, including spun silk with the goldish type of stuff on it. And they can have medications that's built into the silk and the gold fibers. So there are things like that on the market that's being researched and used. I know cancer is one of the things that they have been looking at for that. So, yeah. And I've discussed it with a few people as to, what it could be.
Would you ever give it up to a scientist in order to research it?
Well, I know somebody, obviously, that I could trust with it. I still find it kind of difficult to let it go. Now, I've had other people ask, and I was like, no, I'm not just going to give it to anybody.
No, and I can understand that. I really can. But I mean, let's face it, if you got alien nose goblins happening that are of the metal or metallic variety, I mean, that could be some very provocative evidence if it were to come out not to be of a metal or any sort of material of this world, pardon me. I mean, you could be sitting on metamaterials and you don't even know it.
Yeah, I guess that's true. It'd be nice if I could make some more gold.
No kidding. Just don't pick it too hard. I mean, you don't want to, get a finger stuck or anything like that. That would really be terrible. But in regards to, the fact that you do believe you have other implants, when this, whatever it is, came out of your nostrils,
Mhm.
did any sort of contact calm down?
No, no. I I don't think that I don't think these things are exclusively for tracking or anything like that, because I mean, they can find you wherever you are. They don't need that. Um but I won't go through TSA again. I've just had it with TSA. They put me through too much. Coming through last November last year, they found 12 places in me that they physically patted me down for in front of everybody, and it was not good. And they showed me on the monitor, where the 12 places were. So, but I just feel like I don't know. I don't know that that's normal for people to go through that. Um, so I don't know if they're picking up anything else or not.
Right. This is such a field where it's hard to know who to trust
Right.
or anything like that. Do you feel that with your own experiences, and I'm going to assume you meant the To the Stars Academy, correct?
I know about them, of course.
Okay. So, do you feel that them aside, do you feel that there is a scientist out there that you know of or could trust to send this to in order to get it checked out? Because aren't you curious?
I'm curious. I mean, but my whole life has just been curious. I'm used to abnormal at this point. So it's not like it's burning a hole in me. I'm just glad it's out of my nose, but I wouldn't just turn it over to anybody, no. And I've talked about it with someone. So, but yeah.
Well, that brings up a good point, though. Like, how do you know who to trust in this field? Because there are a number of people probably listening who've had strange diseases or strange happenings to them who may be in a position where they don't know where to turn.
It's very difficult. And I'll tell you, even if you find somebody that's may not be the answer, but I'll tell you, have dealt with I won't go into specifics because the person is known, but after all the MUFON investigations and everything over the years with abductees, there's a long history with NIDS and with MUFON of abductees' files being sold to people and then their information being made public or not outside of the doctor-patient relationship. Some of these were mental health people that MUFON had used, that NIDS had used, and the people that saw them thought it was in a doctor-patient relationship, only to find out later that their files had been sold and used for other purposes. So that makes me very cautious in dealing with certain things with people. I did have a talk therapist for some time trying to deal with some of this. And the funny thing was, she didn't tell me until she retired on the last day that her sister was a big person in ufology and did regressions and all of that. And I was in so much shock. And I was like, okay, so why didn't you help me more with this? And she's like, because you had to figure out all the pieces yourself. I couldn't tell you. You know, she had tried to get me to find a hypnotist here. She didn't do that. She tried to find me a hypnotist here, and they're just not people here. But, you know, so it was just shocking and funny at the same time that she confirmed, you know, what was going on with me and everything, but yet she didn't help me in ways I would have liked to have been helped. So, you know, but she allowed me to find out stuff to myself, because you have all this going on. Everything's a big secret in a family. You're not allowed to talk about it. You talk about it, but then you're told you're not supposed to talk about it. And so then you know this stuff is going on, but the way you're being treated, you're thinking like, okay, well, you know, this is either normal or it's not normal. And so then you go through all those phases, and you know, you still have all these memories, you still have all this stuff going on, your sisters still do, and it's, you know, you just kind of go around and around in a race. And one of the things that was my triggers for bad PTSD was when they switched over to blue police lights. Driving at night and seeing blue police lights just totally caused me to just shake like crazy. I could hardly keep my foot on the pedal sometimes when I was driving. And that is, I came to realize that it was the blue beam from when I was taken that was connected with. And so once I figured that out, then I didn't have that PTSD experience any longer. It was like gone when I realized what it was, because the blue lights in the day didn't bother me. And so you go through all this trying to work everything together. And, you know, we've seen them here. We're on like a lake and a wetland, so we see them here occasionally. We see the orbs and everything, but we have seen some large UFOs here. And my one of the people that saw one with me, you know, I was like, this thing was huge. And so she was like, no, we can't tell anybody because everybody's going to think we're crazy if we tell them that what we saw. So, you know, you go around and around with all this stuff. And, you know, you go through, this can't be happening to me all the time or this many times, or, you know, why is it our family and all this kind of stuff. And then you get to the point when you have to do the research, and then you find out, well, we're not the only ones going through this. I'm not the only one that's having this type of experience. So, you know, and I try to help people to walk out of that, because it's not good for you to be, you know, living a double life or to be in a shadow. It's, you know, you need to be able to heal from it. So even now, when I'm talking, it's difficult.
We've got just over 3.5 minutes left to go before we go take a break at the bottom of the hour. Lynda Thompson is our guest tonight. Lynda, I want to ask you about hypnotherapy because you've tried a couple of times and it just doesn't seem to work for you. What is going on when that happens?
Okay, well, it wasn't so much that didn't work for me. The person couldn't handle it. It's not what she expected to be hearing. She wasn't expecting to be hearing about aliens and, what happened. She was thinking that something else was going on, that I'm having past life memories or something. And she didn't think that any of this was going to be coming up. So she was totally unprepared. She couldn't handle it. I would be open to regression. It's one of those, if you do it, people say you shouldn't have done it, because it's all contrived. And then if you don't do it, then people say you should do it because it's all contrived. It's just whatever. I mean, so it's like anything else, you can't win.
Do you think the hypnotherapist believed your story and what was coming out?
Yes, that's what scared her. And so she didn't have trouble believing that. She just didn't know how to deal with it, how to progress with taking me anywhere with it. She didn't have that experience. So, I think it was something that, I don't know, maybe she had something go on and it triggered something in her.
Could very well be. Did she at least recommend you to anybody who has dealt with such cases?
No.
Oh, well, that's too bad.
So, I mean, we're not in California or someplace like that has more availability for that type of thing.
Right. With a minute to go here before we go to break at the bottom of the hour, do you think you would go through hypnotherapy again with someone who understands?
Yes.
Why do you think it would be different?
Because if somebody is trained in this particular field, they would know they probably nothing would shock them at this point, but they would know how to handle it, and they would know how to do it to where there's no one's leading you and that type of thing. They would know the right questions to ask or what to say next. So I know there's some good ones, but they're generally in California from what I understand.
Okay. I'm going to get you to hold on right there because we are going to go to break here at the bottom of the hour. Lynda Thompson is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. When we come back, we are going to get into how she helps other experiencers, along with the trail of black projects that she has studied up on. Companies like Battelle, coming up on Spaced Out Radio. All right, we're clear. That was a good half hour.
Well, it's not easy to talk about this.
Oh, I know.
Especially to put any kind of order or semblance to it.
It is very difficult. I know. I've shared my story many a times many a times. I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know, I have several copies of the Battelle of the Project Blue Book report and on digital files. And I pulled one up tonight just to look at it, and I didn't realize that it was a digitized copy of Hynek's copy of the report. And so I'm flipping through it, and then I see that the report 14 is attached to it with attachments, and I'm like, I had no idea I had that whole thing there.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, you know, because I download it every time I see one. You know, sometimes you go, oh, why do you need to download another copy of it? But I'm glad I did in this instance.
Don't blame you. I don't blame you. Do, do, do. Do, do, do. All right, we've got just about 2.5, 3, about just under 3 minutes left.
Okay.
John Doe, you need some beard oil. Go to MightyMooseBeard.com. Go get yourself a bottle. Gary Dutchman will take good care of you. He's Dutch for a reason. He'll even get you a pair of wooden shoes.
I had a reporter from Australia that heard the other show I did contact me last week.
Oh, yeah? Now, what do you guys talk about?
He had questions about the events and then some of the things on Battelle, which I do get emails and calls from different reporters from time to time wanting information on it, specific information. Sometimes I think they need to do a little research of their own, but I do get tips. I've gotten tips with people's names and different information from different people that see me.
Right. All right, hold on still. We're going to be going back on in 40 seconds here. I just want to say a big thank you to Vinny, to Susan, to Long Island Bigfoot, Dolly, and TH for the amazing super chats tonight. Really do appreciate the love and support on the super chat. Thank you so much. Big thank you to everybody who is new to our channel and hit that subscribe button tonight. We really do appreciate it. And I got to say thank you to everyone who's given us a thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs sideways. Buy all your SOR swag by going to facebook.com/the SOR Vault. Here we go with the second half of the show starting now. We pass the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We really do appreciate it. Want to remind you that if you've missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. We continue on with Lynda Thompson tonight. We're talking experiences, ET contact. We're going to get into some black projects a little bit later on in the show. Lynda, welcome back.
Hi, Dave.
Hi, Lynda. How are you?
I'm fine.
Me too. I love that Southern accent.
My husband kidded me all afternoon when he was here. He's like, okay, so what is my name? What is my name? He pretended to be you.
Yes, I know. But let's get right into it here, as I am Scott Dave to you. But why did you decide to put your neck out on the line on social media as an experiencer and someone researching this field?
Okay, well, it wasn't intentional. I had been hiding in the shadows myself forever. And then someone gave an experience that they had last year. I think it was their girlfriend had last year and how upset she was. And at the time, it was very close to the experience that I had in San Antonio area. And it really did upset me. It just triggered that in me, the memory. And I discussed it at the time, and that, that it did trigger the memory in it. And I briefly explained what had happened. And so, it was a lot of anxiety with it, especially since that was the first time that I'd gone, public in any kind of way like that. But at the same time, I realized later that I felt better about having gotten that off of me. And so then when other people, said things, I would try to, at least help them to feel comfortable, So it was just something that became kind of protective of other experiencers, so where they can have that safe place if they feel vulnerable enough and want to do it.
It's a very difficult topic for someone to come to terms with it, especially if they've already tried talking to family or friends or coworkers about what's happened to them. So how much comfort do you bring to people who don't know where else to turn?
I did get a lot of DMs, even emails about it. I've had professional people contact me and just tell me, that they feel better knowing that there's other people that are also having the experiences, or they will tell me something. I had a couple of people that wanted me to help them to kind of where they can go as far as where to read or that type of thing. So a lot of that, we do it online anyway, but then there's a lot that do contact me privately.
So for those who contact you, how does it kind of go? Somebody gets a hold of you. How do you know that they're an experiencer?
Okay, well, a lot of times, that, you can tell if it's like really I mean, anybody's experience can be completely different for many, many reasons. But sometimes they're talking about some weird stuff, and it's like, sometimes I can just ignore it and see if they contact me again. If it's someone that I'm pretty sure that, either they're just trying to pull something or if they need other help, and it's always more of a listening thing. Sometimes if they just type it out to me and send it to me, I'll say like, that's interesting, or, something like that. And a lot of times that just helps them to feel better about themselves and they've gotten it off their chest to somebody. So, it's not like I'm giving them help. I'm just basically being someone, a listening board for them. If they have specific questions, if they want to know, we're a therapist or, regressionist or whatever. Of course, most of those people are relatively well known. Like I said, a lot of them are in California.
Do you think though that there is a lot of support out there for experiencers?
Not really. That's a big problem, and it's getting worse, I believe, because many of the experienced regression therapists or whatever that have the experience in this field have either retired, died, or want to retire, and they are so full of clients from what they say, but there's nobody to do it. So, I mean, that in itself is a big area right there. But personally, I don't feel good about MUFON or some of the other groups as far as for helping experiencers.
Makes sense. Makes sense. It's such a touchy subject for people. What's the reaction you've received from experiencers when you tell them you believe their story?
Well, there's times when that's relatively easy. I mean, it's not always so much telling them that, it's telling them that you've had experiences like that, or, this is similar to what I had in this way, or, I've heard of that happening before. So I try not to like confirm what they've had, because there's no way for me to know positively, but I usually say, that sounds like, whatever. So, I mean, they need to do some of that themselves for the analyzing and stuff, I've had to do it the hard way, and I don't think that's necessarily great, but I think it's important for someone to come to their own conclusions.
Wonderful. I got a question coming from Michael in our chat room who is asking, do you think that humans are ready for full disclosure from extraterrestrials?
I think a lot of people are, and they're not all people involved in UFO studies or whatever. I think a lot of people are. Obviously, no one's perception of what they are and what they're like is going to be accurate. So there's a lot of surprises no matter what, particularly if there's, as many as there's supposed to be. But I think generally speaking, people are more open.
All right. I don't know about that, Lynda. I think there's a good part of the Western culture from Europe West that is ready for this. I do not believe that the highly religious cultures are. I don't believe that, this world has a high number of people who panic at the sight of a bird in the sky, thinking it's a cosmic drone of some sort about to come, take away their freedoms. And I don't think there's a big portion of society that is ready for this. There's a lot of reality. We do not know the financial implications that this will cause. And I'm just not convinced that the overall public around the world of 7.8 billion people is ready to find out that there is life on other planets or potentially aliens already coming here.
Or aliens already here.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, I know a huge number of people that believe all of it, absolutely everything about it is demonic. I mean, but then I also know that a lot of people believe that they're generally angelic. So, you've got that religious aspect of it. Then you have all the interdimensional and everything like that going on. So, I mean, we absolutely do not know everything that could be going on and the effects. At the same time, I think we're probably seeing a lot of the effects from them already, stirring things up or the medical advances, different things. So I think it's a mixed bag.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I just, I often wonder at the big picture and how many people on the planet believe that it is happening and that the public is ready for this. I don't think that most of them look at the other implications, the societal implications, the financial implications that go along with absolutely everything. I mean, look, as long as we live in a fear-based, military-industrial complex society, that's where we get a lot of our fervor from. That's where we get a lot of our angst from. And never knowing when that next war is going to happen or where it's going to happen. And that just absolutely convinces me that we are just not ready because there's just too many people out there who are there for their own good or not paying attention properly to the evidence at hand. I mean, because if you think about it, Lynda, the way we have had or many people have had their own personal disclosure already, we don't need to believe anymore. We're all right. We've had that experience. But there's probably 7 billion plus people who haven't had the encounters like we have, and I'm not about to, go and tell them, oh, hey, aliens came down and they're pretty good guys, although some like to anal probe you or put strange materials in your body.
Yeah, and we have the native tribes around the world who seem to be pretty used to them, but they don't have the same cultural problems that the rest of us have. So they just kind of accept life, I guess.
Very true. Now, getting back to a question from Greco here in Toronto, he is asking, the experiencers, how come it only seems that the experiencers know what's going on?
Well, we have experienced, and many of us for many, many times have experienced what's going on, and the messages and the different things that we deal with them. Other people not entirely, but a lot of the other people just don't want to hear it. You know, they don't care how many times someone says a message in different ways. You know, I've just heard somebody yesterday say that the environmental message was a bunch of hooey. Well, you know, I was like 4 years old and talking about environmental stuff back in the early 60s before anybody talked about recycling or anything. So I don't think that I invented it. You know, so these messages are coming from someplace else besides us. But you know, there's a lot of things, and they don't want to accept it. You know, it's like, okay, McDonnell Douglas back, I'm going to say it was in the 70s, they contracted with some experiencers to find out about what they saw on the inside of ships and the outside of ships so that they could incorporate some of those things into their designs. And so at least one set of patents was by a lady that they had contracted with, and they patented her design. So, you know, they can say what they want to say on the outside, but a lot of these companies and the government and everybody do take experiencers seriously in some cases.
Do you think that, you know, there are people out there, okay, the Bledsoe family, for instance,
Right.
is being very well studied by both university scientists and government scientists and scientists from around the world. Okay, so what's the difference between, say, what they are going through and the average person who is being abducted or contacted on a daily basis or a weekly basis or monthly basis?
Well, for one thing, with the Bledsoes, with Chris Bledsoe, I mean, MUFON, James Carrion with MUFON, was said to have had connection with the CIA. And there were other things, not just his case. And so that's likely how the CIA and NASA eventually got connected with the Bledsoes. Now, I know it was more than that, but that is likely the connection. So, you know, like anything else, I guess the connections is what does it. You know, who you know or who you meet, that kind of thing. So, a lot of the experiencers, I don't think, are going to have that experience. You know, if they're not connected with people. I know some people say that Kit Green will like show up at your house and want to stay for several days and do all this kind of stuff. And I just can't see Kit Green. I can't see that. I think he's got better things to do than that.
Very true. Very true. I want to kind of turn the subject here. So we got about 4.5 minutes left before we have to go to break at the top of the hour. When did you start researching the dark side of ufology with big companies, corporations who are, you know, on the front end of their facade may look at working through medical devices or airplanes, but in the back, they're building and looking into all sorts of weird, strange objects from metamaterials to UFOs?
I would say diligently this past year, I wanted to connect the dots and, you know, for where the materials were or where the UFOs were or the bodies or whatever. And so I did that with starting out first looking through the EG&G documents and going to the CIA documents. And then I could see where EG&G and Battelle were together on a lot of the documents. And then I saw where Battelle was on a lot of documents and EG&G wasn't. So I dropped the EG&G and started researching Battelle more. And so that's when I started coming up with more information on other things. So,
but what led you down that path, though? Why did you feel you needed to go and look at these earthly companies that may be dealing in these subjects?
okay. Well, I had no question that the UFOs and the events and everything were real. I was trying to figure out where the evidence was, because obviously people want evidence. I don't think you can ever give them enough evidence. I mean, if I produced a UFO tomorrow, they would say it was a movie prop, so I don't have a lot of hope that's going to solve anything. But that's where I started. And then it was like, well, I want to know these people. I want to know the people behind all of this. And then it was like, I want to know what this company is doing. And then I ran into more information on what the company was doing that was not great. So, you end up in a lot of rabbit trails, but then you keep trying to go back to the main trail. So, I mean, every time I take another look at the company, I find more stuff, and it's like, oh gosh. It would take a large team of people to really investigate just one big company.
Okay, so as we have just over a minute left here, where did you start your path?
Okay, like I said, I started with EG&G first because I knew the company culture. I went through the corporate records online. That's when I surprised everybody when everybody thought EG&G had been completely sold out at least one time. And then I realized, looking at the Nevada state records, that no, they had an energy corporation and the Special Projects Corporation in Nevada that were still alive, that they had never been sold out. So that's the connections there with the what's going on there now with Area 51, and many people believe that the Janet Airlines are still being run through a management portion of EG&G, but so those two are still alive in Nevada. And then I started checking out the CIA records because I wanted to go from the beginning to like the Roswell and then forward and see where the different things that they found, where they ended up. And I went through, various processes like the titanium and the rhenium,
and we're gonna get into more of that when we come back to kick off hour number 3. Lynda Thompson is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Who's making these projects? Who's investigating them? Let's find out right after this. All right, I'm just going to run my dogs out. I'll be right back, okay?
Thank you.
Oh, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Hello, space travelers. It's me again, Carl. Don't Don't forget to join the Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month and follow Spaced Out Radio on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Our Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. Our Facebook page is Spaced Out Radio Show. Our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Come woo it up with Spaced Out Radio today. Bye!
We are scouring the world for the most intriguing stories of your day. Take the time to read up on the SOR Newswire, where our team, led by Captain Shirk, will deliver to you some of the best paranormal and supernatural news, along with some stories that will blow your mind from the weird to the wacky. It's the news outside the news that piques interest, and that's what we're looking to deliver to you. The SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
The SOR Vault is open for business, and do we have some cool swag for you to pick up? All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault. You have a variety of cool logos to choose from, and put them on anything you want. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, you name it, we can get it to you. So do your shopping by supporting the store you love. Get your Spaced Out Radio swag at the SOR Vault today. We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Beckrud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio, and while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
The party is always on at the Moose Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is where you want to be when visiting Canada's West Coast. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose cranks up the rock while serving some of the best rated food in the city. The menu starts at $6.95. Why party anywhere else in Vancouver when the Moose is right there? Get your horns up and rock with the Moose, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Looking for creative ways to get your company out in the public? How about advertising on Spaced Out Radio? Our sales department is waiting to hear from you, and we can work around any budget. From commercial spots to banners to special promotions, there are many opportunities to get your name and product out to our SOR listeners. For a price guide and more information, please contact us at sales@spacedoutradio.com.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at mightymoosebeard.com today.
All right, I'm back. Hi,
Okay.
Susan. Look, a snowball. I put fresh snow in my water. All right. That'll cool things down a bit. Lynda, you don't have a website, do you?
Yes.
Oh, you do? I didn't think you did.
It's Lynda, Lynda, and it's researches.com.
There you go. All right. We've got about 1 minute left. Thank you, Vinny. Thank you, Susan, Long Island, Dolly, and TH for the amazing super chats tonight. Thank you. Really do appreciate that. and the love and the support. Thank you to all of our new listeners tuning us in for the first time. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button as we are trying for 15,000 subscribers before May 24th, my birthday. You can help by hitting that little red button and do a little shopping for your Spaced Out Radio swag. Go to facebook.com/Spaced Out Radio. Here we go, everyone. I lied. We got like 20 seconds. Well, 15 seconds now. I'm in such a hurry all of a sudden. Let's go. Let's get this thing going. All right, 5 seconds, everyone. Hold on.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We really do appreciate it. Want to remind you that we are very grateful for the terrestrial affiliates that carry us around the continent and digitally on Revolution Radio, KPNL, and TalkStream Live. Remember, you can check out all of our archives for free by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Xanthocyanopsy. Xanthocyanopsy is your password. Use it wisely, space travelers, as the clam sets a password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. For the final time tonight, we bring in Lynda Thompson, her website, lindaresearches.com, if you want to check it on out. And we're going into some black projects now. Lynda, welcome back.
Hi, Dave.
Hi, Lynda. How are you?
Okay.
Excellent. You're doing great tonight, by the way. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I want to ask you in regards to these companies. You started with EG&G. It led you to a company called Battelle. What is interesting about this Battelle company?
Okay. Battelle, if you go to their website and you look at the website, you are going to see it's this medical company, and they've been developing things for COVID research and all kinds of good things for medical supplies and such to help with COVID. And then you go down and you find more medical stuff. Well, they're a nonprofit corporation. And so they look very innocent at first glance. But if you keep digging down into the website, you see that they also do aerospace work, and they do work for the Defense Department. And so it doesn't go into great depth, but this is a defense contractor that is nonprofit. And so if you put that together, your brain kind of scrambles and go, what? So they do all kinds of defense work. They manage most of the national labs. In fact, there was a new national lab that's gone online in the past few months, and they're also over that one. They manage the military chemical warfare labs. They manage portions of the proving grounds, and they have money spent in the proving grounds. So they're all over. They handle nuclear toxic waste sites. It just goes on and on. So when I say national lab, I'm talking about like Los Alamos, and there's the Hanford labs. There's all kinds of labs all over. So you have all of this. They work on guns. They work on hypersonic stuff. I just posted today again on Twitter that they work on some hypersonic aerial stuff. And in the past couple of months, they had a drone go down in the Pacific that we're pretty sure was Patel's, since they posted their photo of it the next week. So they have all this money going in, but they're nonprofit. Okay, so you have Boeing and you have all these other defense contractors that pay taxes on theirs. They're not nonprofit. So, you have all these question marks going off. Okay, so then you start digging down deep, and they were involved in the Manhattan Project, just like EG&G was. And you start tracking after Roswell, they were getting involved into more and more of research. And during the war, metal was short, and they were doing all this stuff to save metals and so forth and so on, but they were also developing new metals. And some of those metals were believed to be an exact result of Roswell and other occurrences. There were memory metals involved. The titanium was involved. Rhenium was involved. Nitriol was one of the memory metals. So they were developing all these things, and yes, many of them were used for planes and for other products that they came up with. So they have all this stuff going on. So literally, you cannot practically turn your back without something that Patel is involved in your life, for good or otherwise. And I say for good because they do a lot of good medical projects. But then they have this other side of them that is darker.
How did you put together Battelle with potential UFO / Black Project flying aircraft type studies?
Okay. Well, their main facility is located in Ohio. Wright-Patterson is located in Ohio. Ohio State is also located there, so you've got the three of those. So Battelle was very heavily involved with Wright-Patterson, and all the aircraft, all those research that was going on there for many things. It wasn't just aircraft. They were also doing other studies in connection with air flight. But reportedly, crash products were taken to Wright-Patterson. And it is heavily believed from the different reports that have been written that Battelle was actually leading in the research and assisting in the research. So some of the scientists there worked for the federal government and for Battelle, which hasn't been known for a long time, but one of them in particular, H.C. Cross, was. So you have all this going on. They helped with the Project Blue Book. Battelle did. They worked on the other projects in connection with Project Blue Book. they evaluated different reportings, sightings, many reports of things being taken to Wright-Patterson that they had the opportunity to work on.
Does that also tie to companies like Raytheon?
In more modern times, yes, definitely. Now, how far back, I cannot tell you exactly when that started, but there are projects that are very similar or are being worked on, particularly when you take into account the different labs and proving grounds and other places that they have an opportunity to work together.
Okay. So, is there any proof out there that they have worked on any sort of UFO type projects?
Yes, there are documents. There was one I haven't pulled up, but there was one document that I mentioned on the other show that I read a portion of it, where the question had come up as to whether there was enough of the materials from the objects recovered to do an experiment or research in this on the topic of the UFOs. And the response was yes, that there was. So there's documents like that that indicate that they did have materials available to them. I also got a report this week of a scientist that worked at Wright-Patterson, likely in connection with Battelle, and he worked in connection with Project Blue Book and another project that had a piece of the recovered article. And so somebody gave me his name and information this week. So I get different tips all the time about stuff. And so there's other people that research Battelle in different specialties. So, like, I'm not a scientist, but I know somebody who does that research on Battelle as a scientist, so they can evaluate the scientific stuff.
Okay, so is a lot of this work being done for nefarious ways that you know of?
I wouldn't say that it necessarily is on some things. Now, there are documents that we found in the Department of Energy files that indicate that for quite some time, Battelle was running human experiments on prisoners, people that had cancer, military people, even babies, with radiation and different things. And so, that's pretty disturbing when you see it, especially if you see something that's talking about, this, some of it was back when cancer was like completely hopeless type of thing. So it was like, you're going to die anyway, so we might as well do this. But of course, the people didn't always know what was going on. They were just being given treatments. And it ties in with stuff because later I had somebody on Twitter talking about the exact same thing having happened to his father. Well, I hadn't mentioned it at all on Twitter at that point. And this guy had been in the military, and around the time of Roswell, he was in Roswell, he got thrown in the brig or whatever. He ended up later in a hospital, and then he's having these experiments gone on him. So that was interesting. So you run into all kinds of things that tie things together, and you don't even know what you're looking for at the time, but they come up to you. So I would say that some of this stuff has been beneficial, like the titanium, okay? Like my son could have lost his leg had it amputated, but he has the titanium rod in his leg. So there's definitely good things that Battelle has done. It's just questionable things as well. And then, of course, as taxpayers, we should be angry that this company is not paying its fair share of taxes.
So it's more political then than it is anything to do with UFOs.
No, I mean, they've been involved in that as well. I just think that's one piece of the armor that could be pierced. You know, when you work for law firms and around corporations, the first thing I did was I also researched Battelle's corporate papers. And I keep coming up with things that are not right. But, you know, when you work for law firms, you think about piercing the veil, which is the corporate term for trying to find a hole in their armor, because that's how you can get into a lot of the companies to investigate things. And there are those holes in Battelle's armor.
Who are they working closely with in regards to UFOs and other military type technology, do you believe?
Well, obviously they have a huge contracts with the U.S. government, but I believe they probably are contracting with others also. Many people, like I said that about Boeing last year, that that they were working with these other nations, and I got laughed at and poo-pooed about it. That wouldn't be allowed. Well, yes, it is, because a lot of these other nations have been buying, like the F-35s for, or whatever the Boeing equivalent was. And sometimes they get fined, but it's basically a slap on the wrist for the amount of money that they're getting for the projects they're doing for the foreign countries. So, I mean, but they make a lot of money off of the defense projects.
Well, I mean, they are in business. That is their job, to try and make money, and defense is the best way to be able to do that, considering, there seems to be an endless supply of money for defense. But do you believe then that they are potentially one of the companies that is going after a lot? If we do have crash retrievals of UFOs, do you believe that they are one of the companies that is trying to reverse engineer this potential technology?
I definitely believe that's the case.
Is there any paperwork that follows that?
Well, and that's what we were following in the CIA papers, because it tracks, after Roswell, their involvement in researching the memory metals and the type of things that were described in connection with Roswell. So that was, like right away a clue that they were researching something very close to what was discovered. And then, they've had more things that were recovered. Some of the things that they came up with were similar to technology that Corso, whether you like him or not, some of the stuff that he mentioned, Battelle was one of the companies, there were several, but they're one of the companies that came up with similar technology to what was described from Roswell. So it can't be discounted. And then if you look at the documents, which the documents are just unbelievable, the volume of documents that are available. You know, I keep grabbing them, but to be able to go through every single document is like a nightmare because there's just so many.
No, I understand that. And we got about 3 minutes to go here until we have to say good night to you, Lynda. Where do we go from here? What is your goal to try and find more information about this?
I want to find as much information as I can that relates to this, and I'm running the rabbit trail, so I'm going to see more of what can be found that people just ignore. So things are described different ways for many reasons. And so, there's no simple term for a UAP or UFO. They use a bunch of other terms.
Is it about trying to find, like with companies like Battelle who are claiming to be nonprofit yet bringing in millions? Is it about trying to piece together whom they're working with on a little bit more in depth?
That kind of information outside of what we can discover through the DARPA records are going to be kind of difficult to know as far as, if they're working with a foreign government or whatever. And so I keep trying to, I found a lot of DARPA records, so that's also what I'm going through.
Perfect. So for you on your own research, does it trying to remain focused? Do you try and keep it more towards the UFO end, or do you just see where the research takes you?
I see where the research takes me, but I try to focus on the UFO end. And so it's very difficult. But yes, I try to stay focused.
Okay. So with that focus that you were having, where do you think the UFO world is going to go here as we got just over a minute left?
I think that we're going in the same cycle, in the same circus, and the same everything we've been going into for a long time. Stuff is being revealed, but the same old stuff keeps coming around. So I've been watching it all, and it's pretty predictable.
In a way, it's always predictable, don't you think?
Yes.
Well, Lynda, I want to say a big thank you for you coming on Spaced Out Radio tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you here and discuss ET contact, your own experiences in depth, and seeing who some of the players are in this field and your research. Congratulations to you for that, and we really appreciate you taking the time to come on this show.
Thank you, Dave.
And once again, let everybody know your website.
It's Lynda, Lynda, researches with a ES.com.
I appreciate that. Lynda Thompson, everybody. And once again, LyndaResearches.com. Coming up next, we have the SOR Newswire, the thought of the Dave, a jam-packed final end to Spaced Out Radio once we return from this break. You're listening to Spaced Out Radio. I am Dave Scott, and we're absolutely talking woo tonight. Good job, Lynda.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too, my friend. Thank you for staying up late.
Sure, thanks.
Appreciate
Bye-bye.
you. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was fun. Do-do-do-do. Do 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 do. Hi, Kay Kaylee. How are you? With your green K. Mm-hmm. All right, we are all ready for the news. We are all ready for everything else. Thank you, Alan, for the beard compliment. Thanks, Vinster. Everybody go pick their noses to make sure that you have no alien goblins up there of the metallic variety. Thank you, Mr. Cowley. Enjoyed tonight's show. Oh, Mr. Cowley loves his spaced out radio. Polar Eclipse, how are you? Thank you for joining us. Eric with a K is in our other chat room. You know, we are his 4th favorite show out there. We're number 4, people. Do, do, do. Wow, gorgeous Kira with an amazing super chat. Thank you so much. Wow, that's awfully kind of you. Way too kind. Thank you, Vinster, gorgeous Kira, Susan, Long Island, Dolly, and TH for the amazing super chats and support of Spaced Out Radio. It's very kind of all of you tonight. Wow, that's pretty awesome. And thank you to all of our new subscribers who have subscribed to us tonight. We're trying to hit 15,000 before May 24th because that's my goal for my birthday show, 15,000. You can help out by sharing this, letting people know. Hello, the Wizard Grin. Welcome back. So, yeah, it's all good. And don't forget, you can pick up your t-shirts, hoodies, tank tops by going to facebook.com/the SOR Vault. Alan Holman, thank you so much for the super chat, man. Oh, no, everything helps, man. Everything helps. That thank you that you would think highly enough of us to do that. It blows me away every time someone does that. Honestly, scares me. Here we go, everyone. We've rounded third. We're heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott. Really appreciate each and every one of you tuning us on in. I want to remind you that if you've missed most of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Speaking of the news, let's do this, shall we? The news is always changing, which is why we bring you the SOR Newswire at the back end of every show, where we get to the weird, the strange, the wacky, and sometimes the downright painful. China has begun using anal swabs to test for COVID-19. Yes, apparently this is people squirming all over the invasive procedure, which doctors say can be more effective in detecting the virus. Yes, anal swabs from residents of neighborhoods with confirmed COVID-19 cases in Beijing last week were taken by Chinese officials, while those in designated quarantine facilities have also undergone the test. Now, small localized outbreaks in recent weeks have seen multiple cities in northern China sealed off from the rest of the country and prompted mass testing campaigns, which up until now had mostly been conducted by throat and nose swabs. But the butthole swabs method can increase the detection rate of infected people, as traces of the virus linger longer in the butthole than in the respiratory tract. That's apparently according to Beijing's Yuan Hospital. Yes, users of China's Twitter-like Weibo platform reacted to a mix of mirth and horror. "So lucky I returned to China earlier," one user wrote. Another one, "Low harm but extreme humiliation." Others who've undergone the procedure chimed in with dark humor. "I've done 2 anal swabs. Every time I did one, I had to do a throat swab after. Ugh. Oh, my only question is, before they do the anal swab deed, do they call you a sexy name and make it feel just right by using Barry White in the background? I do not know. All right, moving on. We got another, where is it here? Another story about COVID. Now, I don't know if you've been following the news up here in Canada. If you have, good for you. But if you're in the United States, I highly doubt you did. Well, the former head of a Canadian casino company and his much younger and prettier wife have been fined after chartering a private plane to a remote area near the Canadian and Alaskan border to receive coronavirus vaccines meant for vulnerable Indigenous residents. Rodney and Ekaterina Baker traveled by chartered plane to Beaver Creek, a community of 100 in the Yukon Territory, where a mobile team was administering the Moderna vaccine to residents. Among those slated for the vaccine were elderly members of the White River First Nation. At the mobile clinic, the Bakers claimed to be workers at a local motel, but after the couple arrived for a ride to the airport and the hotel confirmed they weren't employees, staff with the mobile clinic called enforcement officers. After receiving the tip, enforcement officers searched for the couple at their quarantine location in Whitehorse, but found they'd already left. They were discovered at the airport preparing to fly back to Vancouver. They were both fined last week for breaking public health rules in Canada's Yukon Territory. Effectively, what they did was put the community at risk and isolation team at risk as well, said Yukon Community Services Minister John Stryker. "I'm pretty angry at the whole thing. White River First Nation had been selected to receive vaccines because of its high-risk elderly population, said Chief Angela DeMitt. We are deeply concerned by the actions of these individuals who put our elders and vulnerable people at risk to jump the line for selfish purposes. The Bakers were both charged under the Territory's Civil Emergency Measures Act, which carries a fine of $500 plus up to 6 months in jail or both. Hopefully they get it. Hopefully they get it. Well, it's still 100 seconds to midnight on the doomsday clock. The doomsday decision clock to keep the clock hand steady, tied for the closest it's ever been to midnight in the clock's 74-year history, reflects a picture of progress of climate change and politics undercut by growing threats from infectious disease and disruptive technologies. In a virtual event, members of the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists announced they would keep the doomsday clock at the same setting as 2020. Rachel Bronson, the group's president and CEO, said the world has entered into the realm of a 2-minute warning. The risk is high and the margin for error is low. If keeping the clock's hands unchanged lacks drama, the decision captures a year that saw some progress even as the world experienced the pandemic. As terrible as COVID-19 has been, Bronson noted accurately that the SARS-CoV-2 will not obliterate humanity, which is precisely the category of threat the clock was designed to highlight. The threat of climate change, which has risen as a concern for the clock scientists in recent years, receded somewhat in 2020 with carbon emissions falling thanks in large part to the pandemic and the U.S. preparing to rejoin the Paris Agreement. While the threat of sudden nuclear war has risen in recent years, a new treaty to outlaw nuclear weapons, and Russia and the U.S. is likely moved to renew the New START arms control treaty, does offer hope as well. Let's head over to Mars, shall we? In 22 days, NASA's Mars 2020 Perseverance rover will land on the planet in Jezero Crater to search for signs of ancient life that may have been on the red planet in the past. The rover, which is the largest and most advanced rover NASA has ever built, will act as a robotic geologist, collecting samples of dirt and rocks that will eventually be returned to Earth by the 2030s. For that reason, Perseverance is the cleanest machine ever sent to Mars, designed so it does not contaminate the Martian samples with any microbes from Earth, providing a false reading. Yes, the mission teams have been many modifications due to the pandemic, but they have adapted to work safely and effectively. The team will be at JPL during the landing, conducted an adapted simulation of the landing that transpired last week over 3 days. Don't let anybody tell you different. Landing on Mars is hard to do, says John McNamee, project manager for Mars 2020 Perseverance rover. But the women and men on this team are the best in the world of what they do. When our spacecraft hits the top of the Mars atmosphere at about 3.5 miles per second, we will be ready. Perseverance is the latest step in NASA's long history of exploring the red planet. It builds on lessons learned from previous missions with new goals that will shed more light on the history of Mars. NASA has been exploring Mars since Mariner 4 performed a flyby in July 1965. I don't even know what to think of this one. I really don't. Hey, live your life the way you want. I'm all good with that. But this, I don't know. A man who transformed himself into a black alien and had his nose and upper lip surgically removed has spoken out about the struggles he faces when it comes to talking. I wonder if Anthony Lofredo, who's just 32 years old, thought about this before literally ruining his face. Yeah, he had his nose removed in Spain because the procedure is illegal in France. Can't understand why. In an Instagram Live, the Frenchman explained how he now struggles to speak after having his top lip removed, but it clearly hasn't resulted in him wanting to slow down on his body modification process. He has also said that his arms, legs, fingers, and the back of his head will be the next parts he will have modified. When Lofredo gave his nose the chop, he headed over to Oscar Marquez's studio for a rhinotomy, or in other words, nose amputation. Yes, nose amputation. Sharing his results, he wrote, Like a dream, I live this dream. Thank you to Oscar. You have marked me for life. Now I can walk with my head high. Thanks to you. I am proud of what we did together. But the pictures show this guy is I'll be honest with you, he was a good-looking guy. Good-looking, stocky guy. Now he has no nose, no upper lip. I don't think this guy has really, really investigated the whole alien thing. Because if he had been, or maybe he doesn't, what am I trying to say? If he had aliens, he would know that aliens have lips. Yes, they just don't move their mouth to talk. That's it. That's it. Man, that's weird. I'm pretty open-minded about stuff, but I don't know about that guy. I'm sure he's nice. I'd meet him. I'd shake his hand. I'd give him a hug. Post-COVID. But man, I don't know about removing a nose. I kind of like my nose, even though it's broken. A Texas zoo is offering jilted lovers the chance to get some Valentine's Day revenge by naming a cockroach or a rat after their exes before it is fed to a larger animal. The San Antonio Zoo said scorned lovers can pay $5 to have a cockroach named after their ex before it is served to a larger zoo animal as a meal. The zoo said someone looking to make a stronger statement can pay $25 to name a pre-frozen rat for their former lover before it is fed to a snake. You can also symbolically purchase a herbivore option, and we will feed it to one of our mammals as well. I think that's great. You know, this is one of the best things that has happened in a long time with zoos as they struggle for money and to keep their places open. You know, I'm not a big fan of zoos, all right, but I do understand that there are certain animals out there that they couldn't be put back into wildlife. They've had too much humans around, too many humans. But I'll tell you, this is a great way to raise money and keep those animals fed. For sure it is. I might do that. Facebook has apologized after visitors to a popular seaside landmark in Britain found their posts being removed because the name of the location was confused for a misogynistic term. Members of Facebook groups based in Plymouth, England, said posts that mentioned the name Plymouth Hoe were removed by the social media site, and some users found their accounts temporarily suspended on accusations of using offensive language. The name of the landmark comes from the Anglo-Saxon word hoe, which is described as a sloping ridge shaped like an inverted foot or heel. Facebook admitted the word was mistakenly confused for offensive speech, leading to the post being erroneously removed. These posts were removed in error, and we apologize to those who were affected. We were looking into what happened and will take steps to rectify the error, said Facebook representatives. Do you really think Facebook cares? Let's be honest. Do they even have heart? If you could remove yourself from Facebook, would you? See, I can't because of this show. I need the social media following. But if I didn't have this show, I don't know how much social media I would do. Really don't. A Canadian man, a good Canadian kid, nobody hurt here, with the love for spicy foods, has broken a Guinness World Record by eating 3 Carolina Reaper chili peppers, the hottest chili peppers in the world, in under 10 seconds. Mike Jack downed the 3 peppers in 9.72 seconds during his attempt in London, Ontario. The record-keeping organization said the rules required each pepper to weigh at least 0.18 ounces. Jack also had to provide a certificate verifying the chili peppers he ate during the attempt were in fact Carolina Reapers. This is dumb. This is dumb. Jack, is it Jack or Mike Jack? I bow to you because I love the hot sauce. I really do. But this was a dumb record. You're going to pay for this for the next 2 weeks. Your stomach and your butt are not going to love you anymore. They're not going to love you because when it goes in hot, it comes out hotter. Those of us who have hot sauce addiction know this all too well. Just don't go cutting off your nose or your top lip for this. That's all I'm saying. All right, and finally tonight, if you want to have a new job and you love sleeping, well, we may have something for you here. We just may. A mattress reviewing platform said it is seeking a real-life sleeping beauty to get paid $3,000 to test out mattresses. SleepJunkie.com said the chosen candidate will be paid to sleep on the job by trying 3 top-rated mattresses in a 2-month period and writing detailed reviews of each experience. The Sleeping Beauty will be paid $3,000 for the mattress testing job, as well as being allowed to keep the mattress of their choice at the end of the duties. To be the right fit for the role, you will need to be a self-starter, available to work immediately and independently, have clear writing skills, good evaluation skills, and be exceptionally good at sleeping. The posting does reveal one catch to the detail. Our Sleeping Beauty will also have to be able to sleep alone to ensure an undisturbed night's sleep. Applications are being accepted on the website as we speak. Thought of the Dave happens every night at this time, where we ask a question on our Facebook and Twitter pages, then read your responses on the air because we love the audience participation around here. Today's Thought of the Dave is as follows. What's your opinion about eating breakfast foods for dinner? Got some weirdos out there. John, any time of the day is fine for me, but not chocolate for breakfast. Marty, being a night owl after working night shifts for most of my adult life, I am seldom up when most people eat breakfast, so if I didn't eat any my favorite breakfast foods for dinner, I would never eat them at all. Jules, yummy. Zach, I do this once a week. Actually, we cycle the same 7 meals every week because they are the only 7 years my 4 goblins will consistently eat without complaining. Kevin, it's part of my childhood way to survive food shortages. It is only manufacturers who created the idea certain foods are for breakfast. I don't know about that one. John, food is for consuming, not judging. I long for a world where all food is treated equally and has the same opportunities that other foods currently enjoy. Linda, I don't like breakfast foods for breakfast. They are for dinner. I rarely eat them at all. Kim, no, because I don't like breakfast or eggs. I love you, Kim. Waffles and pancakes are awesome, but dinner is too late in the day for that much sweet. So I say no. Jimmy, Dave, we have breakfast for Sunday supper. It's delicious. You guys up there must eat strange stuff because we make some big, I mean huge, Southern biscuits and cover them with Arkansas gravy. Oh my, brother, you don't know what you're missing. I'd eat biscuits. Haunted, definitely anything can be breakfast, lunch, or dinner at any time. This includes dessert. Joyce, yes, please. Science Bob, I have scrambled eggs and bacon for dinner. Oh my God, you people are making me ill. Tommy, made egg in a hole with bacon in the egg tonight. Do not judge me, Dave. Oh, I'm judging you. Mark loves it. He goes, I'm from New Jersey and it's the diner state. Nothing better on the way home from New York City than a stop at the TikTok diner for pancakes and eggs after midnight. Mark, I want to go to that diner place with you. If I ever get to New York, can we do that? I want to know. Greg has no qualms with it. Davey, it's a no for me, Dave, but I will have dinner foods for breakfast. Good for you, Davey. Stand tall, my friend. Stand tall. The Bunker, time is relative. Go to town. Alamu, I eat dinner for breakfast. Good for you, man. Mike does it quite often. Adrian, love it to do it once in a while when I really don't feel like cooking. That's what pizza is for, not breakfast foods for dinner. Alien, my lady and I are doing that tonight. Small world. TBUAP, yes, please. Thick cut, maple flavored bacon, 2 over easy eggs, marble rye toast, and 2 slices of tomato. Now I'm hungry. Yeah, for tomorrow's breakfast, that sounds fantastic. Free will. Do whatever makes you happy as long as it does not infringe upon the free will of another. Shanna, I understand breaking your fast in the morning, but come on. It's not like it's illegal. Oh, you people are ill. Yeah, Peter, This is a 4-egg toasted Western sandwich with a double cheese hand-cut fries and 2 jalapeno poppers. Yes, I made this, and I'm still eating breakfast for dinner to me. This is making me ill. Chip, finally some sense here. Chip, gag me. I mean it. Gag me. Yeah, UFO bro, great on a snow day or when you're sick, but a no-go on regular basis in my book. Ryan, funny enough, just ate pancakes, sausages, and fruit for dinner. Uriah, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. What's wrong with you people? Jeff, I find it very weird actually, but when you have kids, they seem to love it like it's some sort of treat. As an adult, just seems off. It is off, Jeff. That's why it's called breakfast food for the morning when you wake up. Gary, we will have breakfast food for supper sometimes. Doesn't bother me. I like food. Well, you're Dutch, Gary. The Dutch do weird things. I should know. I'm close to it. Jeff, sorry, but I say absolutely yes. Not on a regular basis, but from time to time. Maggie, there's never a bad time for hash browns. You're too young yet, Maggie. You're too young yet. Gil, I've eaten it for tea. Heidi, nothing wrong with it. Lori, do it a lot, Dave. Working on my farm, sometimes it's late in the day, come home in tired and dirty and have a bath, hungry, don't care, just eating something. We do it, says Wayne. Chris, I raised my kids by myself when my oldest was just going to high school. My little ones was around 6 between sports and after school activities. It sometimes was hard to cook a full meal. It helped. Serena, all the time, my girls, her chickens, by the way, lay the best eggs. Cheryl, we do it all the time, bacon and waffles. Nothing wrong with it, says Jeremy. Slade, he thinks it's great. Sean, I'll be honest, it rubs me the wrong way for some reason. My wife likes it, though, my kids too. So about once every couple months, we have eggs, bacon, hash browns, and pancakes for dinner. Let it rub you the wrong way, man. It's just the way it is. Thank you to everybody in the Thought of the Day. We'll do it all again tomorrow. Thank you to Captain Shirk for the news and to Lynda Thompson for the great show tonight. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at work, at home, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight on YouTube, Spreaker, LGAB, Revolution Radio, Facebook, the Space Travelers Club, and all the snarkers and snarkettes hanging out at hashtag Spaced Out Radio on Twitter. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends, say it with me, we own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo train has docked for the night. But tomorrow, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got room for them too. Good night. That was fun. Bunch of sickos who eat breakfast for dinner. That's what you are. Bunch of sickos. Seriously. It's not right. Not right at all. Just saying. All right. Nope. Mm-hmm. All right, I'll be right back, guys. 90 of you. We'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Get this downloaded. Some guy just posted on my Facebook. The audio is shit. No way. No way. I would have never known unless you told me it was shit. God, I hate people sometimes. Honestly. Honestly. I do. I hate people sometimes. Like, really? I need to know this? Apparently I do. I would have never known that my audio was shit unless that person complained. Oh, God. I love people. Never ceases to amaze me. Never ceases to amaze me. Well, that looks good. Let's do a quick test here. See how this sounds.
You know, we saw go to Mike have been born, you know, that kind of thing.
Oh, sounds beautiful. Excellent. Excellent. Give me 2 seconds, everyone, so that way I can see what you're saying in the chat room. Oh, undo that. How do we undo that? Get back over there. There we go. Now paste that. There we go. Mm-hmm. Hi, Aditya. How are you? We will be doing another episode with Butch next month. But yes, Butch will be back. Don't worry. Welcome to our chat room, by the way. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you don't mind. We'd appreciate that. Oh, cool. Thank you, Aditya. Aditya, where are you from? Aditya Kulkarni. Very cool name. Where are you from? India. Very cool, man. Very cool. Thank you for listening to us all the way in India. Hey, guys, we get to put India on our map now. This is very cool. Very cool. That just made my night, man. Thank you. Cricket is a game that I cannot understand. I love watching it. I can't understand it. I don't understand how it like never ends. I would love to visit India. Have you guys ever checked out, and I'm pretty addicted to his YouTube channel. There's a gentleman in India named Asim Barber, and he does these really like weird head massages and body massages, and he is so entertaining. I just absolutely love the guy's videos. And I don't know if you've ever seen him or not, but he is phenomenal. You got to check him out, the Asim Barber. He gives the strangest massages to people, like scalp massages. It's awesome. I haven't looked at them fully yet, Mark, but I am wanting to do that here. I'll probably get some of that done here within the next weekend. I just have had so many little projects come up. In fact, I was supposed to take a phone call. Oh, God, I should text the guy right now because I literally just remembered. Excuse me. Sorry. Thanks, Dirty Filth. Bombshell Bomber, how are you? What are you getting up so late for? All right, we'll close that off. Minimize this. Open this up. Start switching over this audio. Tomorrow night on the show, let me find out for you. Ryan Stacy. Ryan Stacy is our guest from TESSA, the Experiencers Support Association. Then Friday night, we have the round table. Hi, G Girl. How are you? Hey, Dave. When are you doing the ghost box sessions? I'm going to figure something out for. I gotta figure out how to get some video, like go video on video here on the computer, and then we're going to bring Bill back to do some Saturday nights, maybe once every couple months to do Saturday night specials. So that's what we're going to do. Yeah, I miss having Bill on. I do. Excuse me. Boy, this is going really slow on the download to MP3. Lou Elizondo, Mad Kiwi will be February 23rd. February 23rd. No, you haven't, Bomber. So I'd like to know, how much do you love me? Overbill. Dave, tell us the story of the time a Sasquatch seducted you after the drunken hockey game. Hasn't happened yet. Yet. Yes, it did, Jenny. Yeah. Let me check on that, okay? Let me check on it, because I do believe it did. Dave's got a bunch of little hairy children running around the forest of the Pacific Northwest. Maybe Fapster. Bombshell. Dave, how do I love thee? Let me count the ways. I love thee more than the full moon waxing. Full wolf moon, by the way. Bask in her loveliness tonight. Jason, how you doing, man? I'm putting my money on Bigfoot in Bigfoot versus Dogman. I think Bigfoot picks him up for a body slam, drops a big elbow from the top tree branch, flips him over, and puts him in a fucking camel clutch for the tap out. That's what I think happens. Hey, Border Wall, how you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for dropping in. Sovereign Farts, you haven't ripped one in our chat room tonight. Getting a little worried. You probably got some gas buildup. Binster, what's going on, buddy? Thank you. Appreciate that. Thanks, Finster. Hey, have a good night, Alan Holman. Oh, that one's ready. Go like this. Bring that in there. That one's done. That one's done. Fapster, how's Grandma Rose doing? Are you getting to see her much due to the COVID? Oh, cool. Can you give her Grandma Rose a big hug for us, please? Tell her we love her and we miss her. Blackbird Immaculate, welcome to our chat room. How are you? What do I need? Oh, my back is itchy. The weather is so dry, I totally need a humidifier. Totally need a humidifier. All right. All right, everyone. I am going to cut out for the night because we are all done here for now. Tomorrow night, Ryan Stacy, Tessa, and we're talking all sorts of UFO ET stuff. Big thank you to Alan, Gorgeous Kira, Handsome Vinster, the lovely Susan, Long Island Bigfoot with the long hair, Dolly and TH for the super chats tonight. Thank you to all our new subscribers. We're encroaching on 10,300 right now. And appreciate each and every one of you. We will tune you in tomorrow night, everyone. Same time. Good night. Bye. I'm going to turn it off now, okay? Cool. Thanks, everyone. I kind of love you. Take care. Bye.